Every year, once we get to a certain point in the life cycle, I want to say in like the season 3 to season 4 time, I usually like to just sit down and rank every single Call of Duty just to see not only how my opinions may have shifted on the series overall, but also just where the latest Call of Duty ranks for me. Now, as you guys may or may not know, I'm a bit of a shill for the Call of Duty series, okay? I am very biased towards the series. I do not think that there is a single bad Call of Duty game, and I love all of them so much to a point of where it's like, I almost love all of them equally, but today I'm going to try to be as honest with myself as possible, and for me, trying to rank all the Call of Duty games, this is going to be like trying to rank all of my children, but I am going to do my very best. So how we're going to do this is we're going to go ahead and rank it from the very first Call of Duty game all the way up to the latest one. Now granted, this tier list is a bit of a lie. If we were to have literally every single Call of Duty game, that would include things like Black Ops Zombies and World of War Zombies on, you know, like iOS and Android, the same thing with like Strike Team and Call of Duty Heroes and, you know, the spin-off games on like PSP and PS Vita, but we're not going all of those lengths, you know what I mean? I'm gonna try not to shill too hard. I'm gonna try to be as honest with myself as possible, and how I'm gonna be ranking these games, it's not gonna be based on any sort of like inherent quality of the games, but I mean that'll definitely play a part of it, but rather I'm gonna be ranking it on the prospect of like, okay, how much time have I put into these games, and like, you know, if I had to pick one amongst all of these, like which one would I be rushing to boot up right now compared to, you know, like amongst each other? Alright, all the jib jabber out of the way. First up, we have the original Call of Duty. Now granted, going back to this one today, I mean, I feel pretty good putting it into B, right? Because like, I don't know if it would necessarily be fair to rank it amongst A, because I know like there's gonna be a lot of heavy hitters going into A. And as much as I really love these classic Call of Duty games, like the games that came out before Call of Duty 4, just because they have such a unique flair to them, such a unique feeling to them, you know, it's so humble, so, you know, you can really feel the beginnings of a massive franchise, and it's always so cool going back to these games, playing through the campaigns, and just, you know, seeing where it all began, because again, they really do have such a different vibe and atmosphere to them, and they feel so, again, it's hard, it almost feels like a different franchise in some ways. Like when you look at the recent entry like Modern Warfare 3 compared to something like the original Call of Duty, yeah, it feels like two completely different games in some ways, but it also feels the same in others, so I feel safe putting it in a B just because there is going to be some heavy hitters going into A, but that does not detract from this game's quality. It's absolutely amazing. Same thing with Call of Duty 2. As much as I want to put this into an A, I mean, honestly, I think I might put Call of Duty 2 into an A. I really do like Call of Duty 2. It's a really good game. If you've played it, not only the multiplayer, but also the campaign, you know what I mean. Like, this game is actually great. Next up, we got Call of Duty 3. I'm gonna go ahead and slap this into a B. It has a great campaign, great multiplayer. It's just one of those things where it's like, compared to Call of Duty 2, I'd probably lean towards hopping on Call of Duty 2 right now first, but Call of Duty 3 is a great COD nonetheless. And let me just make one thing clear, you know, if one ranks above another in one way, saying like, hey, I'd rather hop on this one at the moment, I mean, I'd be down to hop on any Call of Duty any time of the day, even the spin-off games. That includes something like Call of Duty Heroes, if it was still around. Which then leads us into Call of Duty 4. I'm gonna go ahead and slap it into an S tier. This shouldn't be a surprise. The campaign, the multiplayer. Let me tell you something about Call of Duty 4 and my multiplayer experience. This wasn't the first time that I began to no-life a multiplayer game. I had plenty of experiences with PC MMOs before this. I'll just say that right now. But when it comes to like a first-person shooter, I mean, then again, there was Halo before this as well. I'll just say this, when it comes to first-person shooters, okay, Call of Duty 4, definitely one of my most played of all time, definitely over the 1,000 hour mark, max rank, beat the campaign on all the difficulties and beat it multiple times. Call of Duty 4 is simply a masterpiece. The nuke scene, the ending, all the memorable quotes, and a Muppet like you passed selection. Your fruit killing skills are remarkable. On your feet, soldier, we are leaving. It's amazing. Call of Duty World War, once again, gonna go into the S tier. Campaign, easily not just one of the best Call of Duty campaigns of all time, but also just one of the best, I mean, it even goes beyond first-person shooters, just one of the best campaign story modes in any game ever. This is a game that even 16 years later playing it, even though I played it back when it first released, you know, I've played it many times since then, it still gives me chills to this day, and going through this game, even on subsequent playthroughs, feels like experiencing it again for the first time. It's gritty, it's grounded, it's real, it hurts. The multiplayer, I will say, I didn't play it as much as Call of Duty 4, but saying that doesn't mean much, because I've played every Call of Duty, like, you know, like, World of War, for example. Max rank, you know, max prestige, hundreds of hours if not, I would say in the multiplayer side of things, it's in the hundreds of hours, but I have crossed the 1,000-hour mark of World of War, undoubtedly, between that and then Zombies. And Zombies in itself, World of War has always been one of my favorite Call of Duty Zombies games. That being said, it's hard for me to rank the Call of Duty Zombies games because that's another thing. I'm very biased towards Call of Duty Zombies. Call of Duty Zombies is huge for me. Verrückt was actually my favorite Zombies map for a while, even after like Black Ops 1 had come out and stuff. You know, I always love Verrückt, you know, like just that atmosphere, the horror of that map. I love that, you know, Nocturne Toten, despite the fact that the rounds can be rather slow, I mean, that's where everything began. So even though I don't revisit Noct as much as I would like to nowadays, that's simply just because the rounds do go really slow and it can take almost like an hour to just get to like round 20, round 25, something like that. But that's all amazing. Shi No Numa obviously brought us like the Wonderwall, first wonder weapon of all time in Zombies. Well, I guess like the first, you know, like infinite damage high round wonder weapon, because we did have the ray gun since Noct, but you know, the Wonderwall was like the first, holy crap, time to get to like round 10,000, which you can literally do on Shi No Numa in that game just because the way the zombie spawns and all that work. And you basically go for tens of thousands of rounds until the games crash, and then Der Riese. Do I need to say anything about that? Every aspect of the game deserves the S tier. Next up, we got Modern Warfare 2. Once again, we're gonna go straight into the S tier. Campaign, multiplayer. This was the first Call of Duty game that had Spec Ops. To this day, I will just boot up my PS3 or my Xbox 360 and put in my Modern Warfare 2 disc simply to play the snowmobile Spec Ops mission. The one where you gotta like race through to the end. I absolutely love that. And again, the campaign, so many iconic moments there. And I mean, like, I want to talk about these campaigns more, but the thing is, like, the newer generation coming in and watching Call of Duty videos nowadays, there's a high chance that they haven't played these games simply because they weren't alive at that time, which simply blows my mind. But if you think about it, back in the day, you know, if there was kids that were like, what, maybe anywhere from like 9 to 12 playing Call of Duty, sitting in our Call of Duty lobbies, well, if that same age demographic is playing Call of Duty today, they weren't born until 2015 to 2012 at the latest, which means they weren't even born until Black Ops 2 released, and if furthermore, they probably weren't even playing Call of Duty until, let's say they got an early start and they were playing at 6 or 7 for some reason. They weren't even playing until Black Ops 4 or Modern Warfare 2019. And mind you, Modern Warfare 2019 is almost it's gonna be half a decade old this year. It's been 5 years, which means we've been in half a decade of Warzone for now. Like, it's just, well, Warzone didn't release until early 2020, but still, you know, Modern Warfare 2019 was sort of like when that shift began, and then, you know, Warzone came out a couple months later, but still. But anyway, that's why I'm not delving too deep into the details about the campaign, just because I really don't want to spoil it. Like, obviously, everybody knows about, like, No Russian and stuff like that, but I mean, even then, like, some players may not have actually experienced that mission. They may have heard the legends of No Russian and stuff like that, but they may not have actually played it, so trying to not spoil things there. But then the multiplayer on Modern Warfare 2 is, I have a lot of experience playing Call of Duty 4 and World of War, of course. But when it comes to Modern Warfare 2, this one I played a lot, especially with my friends back in the day. I pulled so many all-nighters on this game, and don't get me wrong, I pulled a lot of all-nighters on COD 4, World of War, especially like World of War Zombies, but Modern Warfare 2, that's when it was like taken to a whole other level with just how much I played this game with my friends. So many memories of us messing around 1v1 in a Rust, trying to pull off trick shots, getting crazy trick shots to get like the final kill on SND. There's just, I mean, the memories are endless on this game, and it almost brings me to tears. Like, I'm trying not to go too deep into the memory territory because I really do have a lot of amazing memories tied to this game, and unfortunately it makes me really sad because a lot of my friends that I played this game with back in the day, well, it's one of those situations where I turn on my 360 and it says that their account was lost online like years ago. For some people, they've been offline for so long at this point that when I go on, it simply says offline. It's past the time that it would actually track to show when they were online last. So it's pretty unfortunate. But yeah, Modern Warfare 2, it deserves the S tier. And if you disagree, you're simply wrong. Next up, we got Black Ops 1, another one going into the S tier. I don't want to repeat myself too much, so I'm not going to sit here, saying the same stuff over and over, but campaign, simply amazing. Kickstarted the amazing line of Black Ops campaigns, at least the two of them that we got. Well, that's not entirely true. We got Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 back-to-back, which were amazing. Black Ops 3 was confusing, but I still had fun with it. Black Ops 4 didn't even have a campaign. But then Black Ops Cold War, actually, no, that campaign was absolutely amazing. I would say that was definitely on the level of the other two Black Ops games. So, okay, we got 3 amazing Black Ops campaigns, one that didn't make sense, and one that didn't even exist. Yeah, the campaign was a trip, absolutely amazing though. Great plot twist at the end. The multiplayer, which the main theme alone is enough to give me nostalgic shivers, smiles, and tears all at once. The weapon selection was amazing. This is where we saw a lot of iconic weapons for the first time. This is also where we saw Nuketown for the first time, and zombies in this game. We don't even need to go into it because all I need to say is that literally every single map from this game was remastered and put into Black Ops 3 besides Call of the Dead, which was then just instead Dead remastered and put into Black Ops 4. So yeah, Zombies was amazing, multiplayer was amazing, campaign was amazing, Black Ops 1, an amazing it's a masterpiece. Modern Warfare 3, gonna go ahead and slap this into the S tier once more. I know I'm like putting all these into the S tier, I promise. We'll be getting to some soon that'll go a little bit lower, but again, I have so many amazing memories with this game. Survival mode was introduced in this game. Unfortunately, we didn't see it really expanded upon or even improved upon later. I can't really say improved upon because the other games basically just did the same thing. It's just, maybe it was the map variety, maybe it was something about the way that the game's played or just something else, but like when I play a game like Modern Warfare 2019, I mean, I'm not going in there strictly for survival, whereas like some like MW3, I do go in there strictly for survival. Again, I don't know if it's something about how it's laid out, if they just changed something, or maybe if it just feels different overall because of the engine. I don't know. But I love survival in MW3. It was essentially like COD Zombies except with humans in a sense, if you want to think about it like that. Multiplayer is basically just more of MW2, a more balanced MW2. Then not that MW2 being unbalanced was a bad thing. I mean, a lot of the great memories I have with that game is just simply because of how unbalanced it was. But MW3 was definitely more balanced, and the campaign just wrapped up the amazing trilogy of Modern Warfare games with a very satisfying conclusion that still gives me chills to this day. Black Ops 2, these games are not ranked individually amongst the tiers. That being said, though, I just need to make a note that Black Ops 2 is the best Call of Duty of all time, or at least in my subjective opinion, it is my favorite Call of Duty of all time. The campaign, one of my favorites. If not, actually, no, I would say probably in terms of just how many times I've played it and how much I enjoyed every time I go back to it. It may just be my favorite Call of Duty campaign. Again, probably a lot of nostalgia bias there, but I don't care. I'm allowed to be biased. This is my tier list. The multiplayer, probably my most played Call of Duty multiplayer of all time, and Zombies. Probably, yeah, I would say that Black Ops 2 is probably my most played of all time. Black Ops 3, actually, I don't know. Black Ops 3, just because of how much time I put into custom zombies at this point, it's either tied, they might be tied, because I revisit Black Ops 2 constantly to this day, and at the same time, I revisit Black Ops 3 just as much, so I don't know. They're either tied or they're equal in terms of my playtime, but I've put I'm talking multiple thousands, not just 1,000, multiple thousands of hours into Black Ops 2 Zombies alone, not even including campaign and multiplayer. I was indeed one of the people that managed to get max rank with the 5 tallies and everything, which the 5 tallies just correlates to like how many days in a row that you play, but I always had my tallies up. And yeah, Black Ops 2, just, I mean, it's my favorite Call of Duty. I love Black Ops 2 so much. Every time anytime I listen to music from this game, I actually just cry. Turn on the main theme, I cry. Turn on the zombies music, I cry. Turn on the multiplayer theme, I cry. Black Ops 2 makes me cry because I love it that much. It means a lot to me. It truly is just one of those games where it's like, no matter what's going on in my life, it's like my safe space, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what bad is happening. If I'm having a bad day, it'll just make it better. Just turning on the game and simply sitting in the main menu will make it better. Or if I'm having a good day, it'll only elevate that good day to even higher heights. I'll try to stop gushing now. I can't help it. I love Black Ops 2. Such an amazing game. Next up, we got Ghost. Gonna go ahead and slap this into a B tier. Not a bad game by any stretch. Obviously, it's still in the B tier. None of these games are gonna be going into F just because, no, never mind. Yeah, I don't think any of these will actually be going into F, but Call of Duty Ghosts, absolutely love this game. I thought, actually, I don't know, man. Does it deserve, I don't know. Does it deserve a C? I don't want to put it in a C. I really enjoyed the campaign and the multiplayer and Extinction and all that. You know what, just for Extinction, I think Extinction deserves a B. Yeah, it'll stay in B just because of Extinction alone. It's just one of those things I go back and forth on, because the campaign was left off on a cliffhanger. We never got a follow-up for it. The campaign itself was fun and memorable, though, but I don't know. I mean, when you compare that compared to the original Modern Warfare trilogy, it's hard, you know, like when you're going directly after Modern Warfare, I mean, like, come on, man. The multiplayer was a lot of fun, but there was a lot of maps that were a little too big, like Stonehaven, for example, and, you know, the weapon and the gunplay and the customization was a lot of fun. This one, we had, like, full-on customization for the first time of our soldiers, which was amazing, and all the different, like, classes and stuff, which I really liked, but I don't know. I also really like the perk system too. Sure, it was a little convoluted or different from what we had before, but I liked it. And again, Extinction through the whole DLC season was great. It's just that no matter how much good Call of Duty Ghosts did, it's hard when you're going up against the giants. You know what I mean? Next up, we got AW. Gonna go ahead and slot this into an A. Once again, another game where the campaign, I have played this one so many times. Funnily enough, or you know, this may sound crazy, but Advanced Warfare is one of my most played Call of Duty campaigns of all time. Multiplayer, played it like crazy. And Exo Zombies, I still revisit constantly to this day, still going back and playing maps like Outbreak and Descent and, you know, just all the maps in general. Infection, Carrier, they're all great. There was only 4 of them because we didn't get the first Exo Zombies map until the DLC season. I mean, unless you include the little Easter egg where if you complete all the Exo survival maps and you can play zombies for like 2 minutes, but obviously that's not really like an official map. We really just got the 4 during the DLC season. The Wonder Weapon on Descent is still one of my favorites to this day, where you just shoot it and it like bounces the zombies all over the room. And again, I had a lot of fun with the multiplayer back in the day. Also, just a lot of nostalgia for the era, just between like the YouTube videos and the community at the time, and playing this game with my friends. Really love Advanced Warfare. And again, the campaign. I love the campaign in this game. I think it's super underrated. This one didn't leave off on as big of a cliffhanger as Call of Duty Ghosts. It's one of those cliffhangers where it's like, all right, I can live with that at least. Like, there was still enough closure to where it feels like a complete experience. But there was still a little bit of a cliffhanger, but again, it wasn't so bad to where it's like, all right, I need a sequel. Where's the sequel? I feel ripped off. I need another game, but we're never gonna get it like someone called. I mean, I don't feel ripped off by Call of Duty Ghosts. I just feel, I don't know, like disappointed, I guess, simply because we didn't get a sequel. Not disappointed in Ghost itself, just disappointed in the fact that we never got a sequel. But again, there's enough closure with Advanced Warfare where I can at least excuse it, even if it does make my heart hurt. Advanced Warfare 2, please make it happen. But yeah, Advanced Warfare, love that game. Next up, we got Black Ops 3. Once again, gonna go straight into the S tier, and again, these aren't ranked individually among the tiers, so don't worry. Just because Black Ops 3 is going at the bottom of the, it's not actually the bottom of the S tier. Like, they're basically equal, except for Black Ops 2, my favorite of all time. But Black Ops 3, the campaign, it's a campaign. You know, for that alone, if we were looking at the games as a whole, I should probably put it in an A, but come on, man. The zombies and the multiplayer, custom zombies, and you got all the other stuff like Nightmares, which was like literally the first and the only Call of Duty campaign that was like a zombies campaign. Even if it was kind of like a copy paste to the original campaign, just with zombies put in, it was still innovative enough, and they did enough to it towards like, okay, yeah, you know what, that works. We got Dead Ops Arcade 2 in this game. We got a bunch of other fun modes like free run and stuff like that, and again, all the community support. Even up to this day, where we're getting stuff like the unofficial Zombie Chronicles 2 from the community, just going through and remastering the maps that, you know, weren't in the original Zombie Chronicles, or we're playing for Zombie Chronicles 2, but are now going to be coming out in Black Ops 3 Custom Zombies, again, thanks to the community. Similar to World of War before, World of War basically had an infinite life just because of Custom Zombies in that game, and to this day, there's people like me that still go back and play World of War, because as great as Custom Zombies is in Black Ops 3, there's a lot of maps that were simply left behind to time in World of War Custom Zombies, and there's still reason to go back and play that game to this day, and Black Ops 3 still constantly dominating in Steam charts, Xbox charts, PlayStation charts, because even though Custom Zombies is only on PC, and that's, you know, that's one of the reasons that Black Ops 3 is consistently at the top of the charts, or, you know, close to the top of the charts, you know, you just, even on Xbox and PlayStation and stuff like that, there's still a reason to pick up this game, because the zombies in this game, I would say, objectively speaking, even though Black Ops 2 is my favorite Call of Duty, and my favorite Call of Duty zombies in general, Black Ops 3, objectively speaking, when it comes to bang for your buck, 14 zombies maps for $30 gets you access to literally 8 of those, and then, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can also buy some of the zombies maps separately for like $7 or $8, so even right there, like, it's just such a great bang for buck, such a great deal right there. Every time somebody asks me, like, what Call of Duty game should I get for the zombies, I always point to Black Ops 3, because either Black Ops 3 or Cold War, and you may be wondering why Cold War, and, yeah, well, I'll kind of explain it when we get to that, but for Black Ops 3, I always say best bang for buck. If you're willing to spend a little bit of money outside of the game itself, you get the Zombies Chronicles maps, all the maps that came out throughout the season, Shadows of Evil and the Giant, you know, are there as well. Like, I mean, you get Shadows of Evil on disc, but then the Giant's also available for only like an extra $6. So there's a lot of content on offer there, but then when it comes to Cold War, again, if you're wondering why I would suggest that, that's only because all of the DLC is free in that game, so you can get like all the maps, as well as all the Onslaught content and Outbreak. Like, that's a lot of content there, and all that DLC is free, like, once you purchase the game, so that's also a pretty good deal, especially if you pick up the game physically, because digitally, Cold War still does cost a decent amount, but if you get it physically, you can get it for like 20 to 30 bucks online. But anyways, yeah, Black Ops 3, S tier. We're starting to get into repeating myself territory, so we're just gonna start kind of checking off the list, and I'll mention important things if they're important as we go. I just noticed that Modern Warfare Remastered also within here, but that's okay, because we already have Call of Duty 4. Honestly, if Modern Warfare Remastered was here, I'd probably put it in an A, simply because of all the loot boxes and how much content was locked behind those, and I don't know, man. I just feel like that was a whole other thing. Maybe I would have put in S. I don't know, because it is a really good remaster at the end of the day. But anyway, Infinite Warfare. Gonna go ahead and slap in an A. Campaign, super underrated. It was a very innovative campaign as well. They had like all the side missions and other things you can do, which were really cool at the time. Zombies, super underrated in this game. Zombies in Spaceland, one of my favorite maps of all time. Raven the Redwoods was really cool. Shaolin Shuffle was really cool. Then we had the final two maps. Like, they kind of like blend in my mind for some reason, but you know, with like the Beast from Beyond and all that. So the Zombies offering was great. This game also did like the whole supply drop thing right when it came to both zombies and multiplayer with the salvage systems, and how easy it was to get the things that were locked behind supply drops. Really respect this game for that, because as much as I love Black Ops 3, the supply drops were a little crazy, and it was pretty hard to get a lot of stuff that you actually wanted out of those supply drops, whereas in Infinite Warfare it was a lot easier to get not only the weapons, but literally anything else that was locked behind the supply drops normally. And yeah, that basically just sums up all my feelings about the game. Campaign, underrated. Zombies, amazing. And again, multiplayer, not only did they do the monetization right, but I always felt it was like probably, I would say, the most refined or fluent of the futuristic games. Just basically taking all the movement from Black Ops 3 and refining it further just to make everything, I guess, feel a bit smoother in a way. Not that Black Ops 3 doesn't feel smooth, but Infinite Warfare feels really smooth when you play it. Not to mention the gunplay. You know, Infinity Ward always nails the gunplay, and felt great there. World War II, once again, gonna go into the A tier. Campaign, underrated. Multiplayer, a lot of fun. A lot of great maps in the multiplayer in this game as well. The first time bringing back war mode since World War, it was really cool there. They're building a bridge! And zombies in this game was pretty great too. They did take a lot of risks, tried to make some innovations. Some stuck with some people more than others. I personally enjoyed it, but I know some people didn't enjoy stuff like the torture path and Darkest Shore and stuff like that. Me personally, I enjoyed it. Some people not so much, but it is what it is. I'm the weirdo. I'm also the same guy that loves transit. And once again, they handle the monetization right for the most part. And the headquarters and multiplayer, you know, that was another really cool feature. The supply drops in this game again and everything were pretty, I would say, consumer friendly enough for a supply drop system. Like, you could actually unlock all the stuff behind it. So, you know, that's cool. Like, it wasn't just locked to random chance like it wasn't BO3 or Advanced Warfare. Like, you could still at least work for that stuff. And there was a lot of cool skins in the game too, and emotes, and yeah, just in general, all across the modes. World War II, amazing game. Next up, we got Black Ops 4. Gonna go ahead and put this in I'll put it in an A just because as much as not having a campaign is enough for me to just want to put it in a B. I mean, it had Blackout, which is my favorite Call of Duty Battle Royale to this day. Zombies was great. Multiplayer was great. Multiplayer was definitely different, but that isn't a bad thing by any means. They were just going for a different thing with, like, I don't want to say more of a tactical approach, but they were definitely leaning into the hero shooter elements a bit more, but, you know, I thought that was cool. I dug the 150 HP change. Again, it was something where I wasn't used to it at first, but after, like, 2 or 3 matches, I got used to it in the manual healing and everything like that, and Zombies always felt like was dunked on way too much in this game, because the zombies in this game I always enjoy, like, Voyage of Despair, literally playing on the Titanic. That's awesome. 9, such an amazing map. Blood of the Dead always got way too much hate. I love that map. Classified was an awesome remake of 5. Dead of the Night is a super, not only underrated, but overlooked map simply because Treyarch didn't even market the map at the time, so it kind of makes sense. And then, well, with Ancient Evil, that was basically like the Origins type map of this game, if you think about it that way, because we had like the 4 Wonder Weapons there. And then we got to Alpha Omega, which, again, I did really enjoy that map, and I thought the whole boss fight at the end with Avogadro was pretty cool. And then Togdertoten was a sad, but pretty, for the most part, I would say satisfying enough or decent enough of a conclusion to wrap up the story there. It kind of sucks that the second half of the season, you could definitely tell there was huge budget cuts, not only in the way that the maps were developed, but also how the cutscenes were developed, with them all just kind of being like slideshows and stuff like that. It would have been really cool to see all the events that played out during the slideshows actually be presented in like a typical 3D animated cutscene, but it is what it is. I'm cool with what we got still, regardless. All in all, Black Ops 4 is definitely one of those games where I point at and I'm like, yeah, that game got way too much hate, and I feel like it's still overlooked to this day just because of some of the negative press that surrounded it at the time. You know, I'm not the type of guy to ever say that YouTubers are to blame for public perception, because I feel like that's just like a stupid thing that people say, but it's not necessarily that YouTubers were to blame, but I would just say that, like, there was definitely a lot of, I don't know, like, hate baiting at the time where, like, people were, like, overly negative, I felt like, for views. I'm not saying that all of the hate wasn't justified or that, you know, people weren't right for having their critiques of the game, but I do feel like, I'm not talking about the big YouTubers necessarily, but it was just one of those things where, like, everybody in the community, whether it was justified or not, was really just ragging on this game, and I don't know, it's just one of those things where, like, once a certain opinion starts trending, that's kind of where, you know, everybody just stops having their own opinion. They just follow whatever the popular opinion is, just because that's how the internet is, you know, like 90% of the people out there are just simply incapable of forming their own opinions, and, you know, it's pretty lame, but that's a rant and tangent for another day. It's just one of the very many reasons that I don't use social media. If you count YouTube as a social media, then sure, but I'm talking, like, you know, social media as a whole, or interacting with people online in the social media sense. YouTube for me is different. I just create content and that's it. I don't really interact with anything beyond that. I just make my videos and stay away from the rest of it. Next up, we got Modern Warfare 2019. Gonna go ahead and slap it an A. Again, the campaign in this game was great. I really enjoyed the campaign here. Super grounded. In terms of rebooting Modern Warfare, like one of the most legendary FPS campaigns of all time, I feel like they did an absolutely amazing job just like adapting these characters to like a modern setting, a modern game and stuff like that. No pun intended, but really love the campaign here and in the following Modern Warfare games in this little like reboot trilogy that they got going on right now, and it'll probably expand beyond a trilogy, I'm sure. The multiplayer was a lot of fun in this game. I maxed out every season, whether we're talking the battle pass, the levels, or all the challenges they had. Loved that. Unfortunately, I didn't play Spec Ops as much in this game, but 'tis what it is. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, it was cool that it was there and I wanted to play it more, but Yeah, I remember it being like way too challenging when it first came out, and that was like a huge point of contention. They were like, yeah, you're not gonna be able to do this solo. You really need a group of friends if you're gonna try to do this. And yeah, I'm more of a solo gamer. I don't really like playing with people nowadays. I would lump Warzone into this, but they are down here separately, so we'll rank them separately then. But yeah, you know, Modern Warfare definitely deserves the A tier in my mind. I just through and through genuinely love this game, and it was cool that the game brought back survival finally in an Infinity Ward game since Modern Warfare 3, because we had survival in other Call of Duty games, just not specifically in a Modern Warfare game since MW3, and it was cool that it came back, but I definitely didn't play as much as I did back in the day, but it was still cool that it was there. Next up, we got Cold War. Gonna go ahead and slap it into, I honestly... Look, man, I'm gonna put it into an S. I was talking about it earlier in the video, but the campaign in this game is honestly on the level of those original Black Ops games, in my opinion. I genuinely love the campaign here. The multiplayer has so many amazing maps from, like, just Black Ops history in general. Not only did they bring back Nuketown, as you would expect in a Black Ops game, but then we also got, like, a bunch of other great maps, like Raid, and Rush, and Standoff, and just all these maps across, like, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and just Black Ops history in general, and... I don't know, man. The multiplayer in this game is really something else, because beyond even all the remastered and remade maps from previous Black Ops games, we had so many amazing original maps in this game. Like, for example, I think of one like Apocalypse. I always loved that map. I also felt like the offering of content throughout the seasons was pretty good. There definitely was a bit of a drought for zombies at certain points, but... otherwise, like, across the board, I really love this game. I love the integration with Warzone. I thought, you know, I feel like they did the best that they could, especially when they were working on, like, 2 different engines at the same time, essentially. Yeah, the multiplayer was great, campaign was great, and zombies, I genuinely love zombies. I go back to this one often. D Machine is honestly in my top echelon of favorite zombies maps. Firebase Z was... not only aesthetically amazing, but the Orda boss fight was really cool. Honestly, the bosses in this game are great too, like the Outbreak bosses, and then Mauer de Toten's boss, and then the Forsaken boss, not only aesthetically, but also just gameplay-wise, was amazing. Sure, it wasn't the hardest thing in the world, but if you want to talk about spectacle and the Easter egg leading up to that, and I don't know, man, even like all the wonder weapons in this game, Cold War, I honestly do believe it deserves the S tier among the greats. It is an amazing Call of Duty game, and unfortunately, I do think it's going to be one of the last classic Call of Duty, like, one of the last classic feeling Call of Duties we'll ever get, because, like, sure, it still had the gunsmith and the Warzone integrations and stuff, but at the end of the day, it still felt like a classic Call of Duty when you play with that engine. I love Cold War. Yeah, I'm going to put it in the S tier. Next up, we got Call of Duty Vanguard. I'm going to put this in a B. I love Vanguard. I love the campaign in this game. I love the multiplayer in this game. It's essentially Modern Warfare 2019 with a World War II coat of paint. And as much as some people don't, I loved zombies in this game. Durand Fong, Terra Maledicta, I had a lot of fun with those. Shinonuma, I genuinely do believe is an amazing zombies map. And while yes, the Archon is just a Control-C, Control-V Terra Maledicta, just with round base slapped in, and, you know, the final boss. The final boss itself was cool, but then, like, the ending to it was, you know, you could definitely tell there was, like, basically no budget there. Just another example of a game that I feel like gets way too much hate, and I love this game. The only reason it's in B and not higher is simply because of half of zombies being... I don't want to say, you know, like, because again, I do love the zombies in this game. It's just one of those things where it's like, I definitely don't return to it as much. You know, the main thing that I return to in this game is that Shinonuma remake, and considering that, since there wasn't as much original content there, I mean... I don't have a problem with remakes, but if there would have been, like, more original maps there where it's, like, you look at it and, like, Vanguard is really able to stand on its own and a zombies front alone, like some of these other games can, because, like, I look at, like, Black Ops 1, 2, 3, Cold War, and I'm like, yeah, those games could literally stand on their own just as zombies-only games, and, like, I would still pay full price for those, you know what I mean, just from the amount of content and fun that you get out of that, but Vanguard... yeah, definitely not to the same tier of that, I would say, despite the fact that I do still really love the game. And again, the campaign, I loved it, but I don't know, man. When it comes to revisiting the Vanguard campaign versus, like, the Modern Warfare games, like the original trilogy, oh, man. And then multiplayer in this game, I would say, is probably, like, my most played aspect to this game, and I loved it. Again, it was basically just, like, MW 2019 with a World War II coat of paint, and it felt great. It was a lot faster than Modern Warfare 2019. Not that I really care. I'm the same dude that really loved Modern Warfare 2 2022, even though that was a slower paced game, but like Vanguard, yeah, it really did. It was like a nice blend between old and new, you know what I mean? It was like a bit faster and arcadey like the old school CODs, but it still had like some of the newer elements with the gunsmith and tax spreading and doors and destructible environments and stuff, but yeah, you know, Vanguard is a game that I definitely feel like gets too much hate, but I just overall really did enjoy the game. I love World War II Call of Duties, and it's a shame that most of the community doesn't feel the same. Modern Warfare 2 2022 is going to go into the A tier for me. The campaign was very solid, in my opinion. I had an absolute blast with the multiplayer. Going for the Mastery Camo Ground was a lot of fun in this game. Going for Orion Camo, I had a lot of fun with that. And I played the Spec Ops a lot in this game, actually, between the actual individual Spec Ops missions as well as like the Defender objectives. I even ended up playing it with my mom. I remember there was multiple times where we booted up like the Defender things, and me and her were just, you know, just running around shooting stuff, surviving and stuff like that. It was like as close as I felt to the classic days of like Modern Warfare 3 2011 in terms of like the survival type mode. Even though it wasn't exactly the same thing, it was close enough to me to where it was like, yeah, you know, like, I'm loving this. And again, the Spec Ops there was amazing. And again, you know, we're talking about like Warzone elements and the mainline games differently, so this doesn't include like Warzone 2 or DMZ or anything like that. But Modern Warfare 2 in general, man, I love this game. I don't know if you guys have seen it before, but literally right in the back behind my chair, I literally have a poster of it. Like, I love this. Oh, and I also have a poster of Modern Warfare 2019 right over there. I also have a Black Ops 2 poster somewhere, but unfortunately, you know, the poster, I mean, it is from 2012, so it's kind of gotten destroyed over the years. I do want to hang it back up even though it's destroyed, but at the same time, I think I'd be better off just ordering a new one. But yeah, I love the Modern Warfare games. I don't have an MW3 poster yet. I also have a Black Ops Cold War poster in my room. I want to get like a poster for all the COD games at some point. You know, I just guess I love Call of Duty, but yeah, seriously, I love MW2. Next up, MW3. Okay, so this is hard because the game is still in the middle of its life cycle, but as it stands now, I'm still going to put it in A tier. Will it ever reach S tier? Okay, here's what I'm going to say. I love the zombies in this game. I love the campaign in this game, as controversial as that is for me to say, and I genuinely love the multiplayer in this game. The only issue for me is that, I don't know, because again, it's hard because we're still in the middle of this game's life cycle, but I love it so much. And again, like, I really enjoyed every element of this game. It's just, when I'm comparing this game to the all-time greats, Black Ops 2, MW2, Black Ops 3, as much as I love MW3, I gotta be honest with myself, yeah, this is definitely on the same echelon as something like MW2 or MW in 2019. Not saying that those games are bad, not by any stretch. They're literally in the A tier, but it's like, that compared to the all-time GOAT to the franchise for me, at least in terms of like what I'm, you know, if I'm thinking of like what I'm gonna hop on right now. All right, I gotta pull myself back a little bit. Like, all right, now if they would put round-based zombies in MW3, I'm just saying, like, you know, the conversation might change a little bit for me at least. Like, if they can, like, if they would like switch things up and not only have like the MWZ mode, which I genuinely love in this game, but also introduce like round-based zombies and put a couple maps in there that are genuinely like great. I don't know, dude. I just wanted to interject for a minute because I was gonna say this originally while I was recording the video, but apparently I forgot to. Anyway, round-based zombies isn't a requirement for me for a game to be considered S tier, in my subjective opinion, of course. It doesn't come down to what mode is in the game, but rather the quality of said mode. And as much as I feel that MWZ is a quality mode, the fact of the matter is, it's gonna be unplayable one day. The fact that it's online only means that your ability to play the game is tied to how many other people are playing the game. And of course, years in the future, whenever the servers either inevitably go offline or, well, you know, or whatever happens, if the player base drops down to low, we'll see the same thing that happened with Blackout and Black Ops 4 happened in this game, where you simply can't find a game, therefore rendering the game essentially unplayable, which is why, you know, once it gets to that point where zombies is quite literally dead and unplayable in this game, you're left with only the campaign and the multiplayer, and as solid as they are, comparing it to the ones that are already are in S tier, you know, it was already tempting enough just because I really do love MWZ, but unless they find a way to add that permanent longevity to it to where, you know, it's not tied to an online-only thing and it can actually live forever in some way, then as fun as MWZ is, realistically speaking, that is kind of a knock against it. Because the campaign, again, I genuinely loved it in this game, and the multiplayer in this game is one of the strongest multiplayers that we've had in this whole Warzone era, and just of all time, really. I love the multiplayer in this game. It looks, feels, and sounds great. The camo grinds were a lot of fun, going for Borealis, Interstellar, Bioluminescent, and all that. I absolutely loved it. They were all a lot of fun. So as it stands, I'll leave it in the A for now. We'll see how things shake out by the end of the season, but I feel like if they never end up introducing round-based zombies, which, for, you know, I'm not saying that they would. I don't think they're going to. I mean, it would be cool if they'd surprise us like they did in Vanguard, but I mean, I don't think anybody actually sees that happening. Otherwise, I don't know, man. Like, the multiplayer offering alone is really solid. I've really loved all the new modes that they put into the game. Like, they've had a bunch of, like, cool events and stuff like that just happening constantly. Even though this game is only halfway through its life cycle, I'm already on my way to, like, I'm close to halfway to 1,000 hours in this game. Like, I've put a lot of time into Modern Warfare 3, okay? So with all that being said, I truly do believe that MW3 deserves the A tier. And finally, we've got the Warzone offerings. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of slap them somewhere. Warzone 1, I mean, I don't know. Warzone for me, maybe a B. Warzone 2, I enjoyed it, but probably B. And then Warzone 3, I mean, they did just bring back Rebirth, but I don't know. When I compare Warzone compared to, like, even the games in A tier, I mean, like, I don't know, man. Sure, it's fun, but between the long wait times between getting into matches and, like, I don't know, like, Warzone 1 was a lot of, I really did have a lot of fun with Verdansk, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, but that being said, I also did have a lot of fun with the other maps, too, like Al Mazrah and Urzikstan, and I don't know, like, I've really been enjoying the games in general, but at the same time, it's like, as much as I love Warzone, like, how do I rank it amongst Call of Duty? You know what I mean? Especially, like, when it comes to, like, just Warzone versus, like, full package games, right? Like, it's hard to compare Warzone on its own compared to something like Modern Warfare, where Modern Warfare comes with a campaign, a multiplayer, and a Spec Ops, and then Warzone is just Warzone. Because if I would try to rank them along with the Call of Duty games that they were a part of, then yeah, all of these would technically go into the A tier, but they are separate, so I don't know, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, I love Warzone, but when I'm thinking in my mind of, like, Warzone versus something like going back and playing Black Ops 4 Zombies, that's when I gotta be honest with myself and be like, okay, if I had to choose between going back and playing Warzone or any of the games in A tier, like, if I had to choose between the Call of Duty 2 campaign or Warzone, I'd choose the campaign. If I choose Advanced Warfare, even just one element in that game, like Exo Zombies versus Warzone, yeah, my mind goes towards Exo Zombies. So, with that being said, I feel like, just to be fair, I'll leave these in B. If I was ranking them in the past, I probably would have left them in a C, maybe even some of them in an F, but I've come around to Warzone in a bit, had some time to reflect on it, and I do genuinely enjoy the mode, but when I'm ranking it amongst the other games and, like, what I come to Call of Duty for, mainly, like, the multiplayer offering, because, like, I do come to Call of Duty nowadays for the Warzone side of things. That used to not be the case, but I do enjoy Warzone. I do dive in when they add new stuff. I do have fun with the mode, but multiplayer really is, like, my main bread and butter and is the thing that I spend most of my time on. So if I'm thinking about it that way compared to, again, the other games, like, which one I'd be more gravitating towards, again, even something like Black Ops Swords, like, alright, am I gonna go play Blood of the Dead or am I gonna play Match of Warzone? I'm going towards the Blood of the Dead. But anyway, there is my Call of Duty tier list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Whatever you're thinking, I would love to hear from you guys. And before we wrap things up, just remember two things. Not only is this my subjective opinion, but I'm also just a massive shill for the Call of Duty franchise. So, you know, if some of these seem like they're a little high, which they kind of are because all of them are between the S and the B tier as well, I can't help it. I love Call of Duty, okay? But anyway, as always, massive shout out, thank you to all the Patreons age, and remember to get all in the low ball tier, and a bigger shout out, thank you to all in the big ball tier, Malasky, me dad, man, in the bigger shout out, thank you to all in the G tier, run events, someone cheese code. Thank you guys so much, you guys are literal legends. I love you. Thank you guys for watching. An amazing day, so beautiful. I love you all. And before I wrap up this video, I just want to say I apologize if throughout the video you guys notice I was like blinking a lot or like kind of making like weird things. Basically, I have this light right above my camera, and normally I have it angled correctly in a way where it's not going to be blinding me, but for some reason my eyes are just, I don't know if they're a little more sensitive today. I don't know if it's my allergies or if the light is just pointed. I think I have the light in a bad angle right now because it's kind of been blinding me the whole video, and I've been trying not to let it show, and I didn't want to blink too much. So I didn't want people thinking I was smoking something because I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't smoke. I don't touch stuff. I'm stone cold sober 110% of the time. But like, I don't know, man. This light got me looking a little funky. Anyways, I've talked enough. I'll shut up now. Thank you guys for watching. I love you all. Peace.